Well, welcome to the first off-field call of 2025. We have the usual agenda. So I'm just going to go click through the slides, and we'll take any minutes on here if for the open topics. So the Live It on Fire IG hopefully is going to get published soonish.
It
Lab
should.
work. Okay, thank you. Lab order workflow calls are Fridays, and then we're also having some every once in a while. Other dates, they will all be on the call calendar. There is the Universal Fire Lab IG every other Friday in the morning. Next call is this Friday, I believe, and then cancer pathology reporting project calls are Wednesdays from 12 to 1, so tomorrow. Making folks aware that there is a continuous glucose monitoring project that might be of interest to folks. They normally talk on Wednesdays at 3, and calls also are on the call calendar. The January ballot closed yesterday. The working group meeting in January is virtual next week on Eastern time, which is why we moved next week's call to today. And then HL7 Europe is working, has a semantic working group, and those calls are Fridays early in the morning. So if anybody's interested, you could reach out to me. The call info is here as well, but if you want, I can forward the invites to folks as well. LOINC next release should be coming out in February and should include some LOINC and SNOMED ontology work. And because of that work, there'll be some changes in a couple of LOINC codes, I think. I don't know if Isa is on and she wants to talk to that. Nope. Okay. Let's see, other announcements. So ASTP, formerly known as ONC, has a couple of things that came out. The ISA 2025 reference edition has been published. Obviously, ISA gets updated throughout the year, but they publish a reference edition in January. So here's the link to that page. The USCDI version 6 draft has been published. I have a link to the fact sheet and the direct link to the draft here in the slides. The comment period ends April 14th. I think we might, as SHIELD, want to take a look and maybe provide some comments. And then USCDI Plus Cancer Registry Data Elements version 1 was published. So I put the link to the announcement in the slides as well. Anybody has any other ONC related announcements I should add? Yeah, somebody has their hand up. Who's that? Karim, go ahead.
Hi, Ricky and all.
Hey.
It's been a long time since we spoke. I'm not sure if you remember. I joined one of your meetings once and presented the UK SNOMED content.
I do remember that was a very nice presentation.
For the lab reporting, and I was expressing some frustrations over kind of the lack of standardization of the terminologies and everything that's going on in the four corners of the world.
Right.
So to that end, we finally managed to set up an international group that I chair. So that comprises of the relevant organizations and member countries who are developing lab reporting content. So particularly, we've got the LOINC ontology conversion thing to the SNOMED extension, which is really exciting for us because it means that we can stop duplicating and producing content, because prior to that, there was the whole previous LOINC agreement, which meant that we had to go our own way and develop content. Then you've got the MPU European side who are planning to map the SNOMED CT as well. So the purpose of the group really is to bring together all the relevant organizations and member countries and standardize how we represent stuff, because the observable entities model lends itself to quite a lot of interpretation, and also the editorial policy of creating content. So you find that Loink conversions are doing something one way, we're doing it another, and then international edition content has a different way of doing things. So firstly, trying to get that interoperable, and also looking at the complexities of hello?
Yep.
So also looking at the complexities of the SNOMED observables concept model and its limitations. So, you know, what we've started running through the types of content we're trying to represent, you know, the percentages, ratios, fractions, relative concentrations, and then expressing the limitations in the concept model and proposing the options to take through the SNOMED international governance process. So yeah, I was going to just float this to the group that there's that going on, you know, and for me it works very harmoniously with the group that you mentioned, the European group, because whereas we're looking at the observation content that represents the patient test results, they are looking at the actual value sets to kind of, I suppose, post coordinate the stuff into the model, so the specimen lists and, you know, the body site lists and so on.
Right.
And I guess I'm just, you know, anyone is welcome to join. Just contact me and I'll send you the details. It's
recording in progress
on Wednesday. And we have a face-to-face in Oslo for the business meetings in April.
Oh, it's SNOMED, at the SNOMED business meeting?
Yeah. And we report directly into the current pathology and laboratory medicine clinical reference group that's well established at SNOMED International.
Okay.
Could you tell us the name of the group, please?
Yes, I'll put a link in the chat.
Thank you.
And by chance, do you already know when you're meeting that week at the SNOMED business meeting?
Yeah, bear with me. I'll put that in the chat as well.
Yeah, that's on, I think on my announcement for upcoming meetings, so we'll get there, hopefully. But great, that's okay. Other publications, Sequoia published some TEFCA updates. So for the SOPs, for the QHAN participation. And there was a call for nominations for IFCC's Emerging Technologies Division on artificial intelligence, and Jamie article on artificial intelligence, and so those are the things we found. If others have others, we'll put it in the chat and I'll add it to the minutes.
Great, I'll put the link in there for the Sequoia Project Implementation Guide version 2.
I can do that. Yep.
Okay, I'll put it in the chat. Thanks.
Okay. And type this morning. And I will put Kareem's group name here, so. Okay, back to this one. And then up, oh, I did not put it in here. I thought I did. Somewhere I put it in. I'll get the link for it. Do you remember? I don't remember the dates off the top of my head, but we'll look it up. It's in March, right?
April 6th to 10th.
Oh, April.
Oslo. Yeah.
Okay. There we go. And I'll add the link to the page. Okay, HIMSS is March 6th in Las Vegas. Any other meetings we should put on here for people to be aware of? Okay, I'll put that in here. One over. Okay. Thank you, John. And then the ASCLS presentation that we've submitted a proposal for was accepted. So we're gonna give a presentation on SHIELD as well as, you know, a little bit of background info on Lincoln SNOMED CT for folks that have not much idea about that in June. So don't know the exact date and time, but that's exciting. And we're waiting for the whether or not the ADL proposal got accepted. I haven't heard back on that yet. EMEA, oh, November. That's too far out. I'm not thinking about EMEA yet, Alana, but thank you. Unless there is any proposals for, is there a call for proposals that we need to think about?
You know, I haven't checked, but it's in Atlanta. So if anybody comes out, we'd love to get together with them because that's our home base.
Okay, all righty. I'll make a note of that. Okay, were there any recent meetings people have updates about? Probably not, because of holidays and stuff. If not, we'll go to the steering committee update. I've linked the meeting minutes. The nominations for steering committee officers, chair and vice chair, are still open. And we're looking for some new steering committee members. We definitely have one open slot, and then there's a couple of folks that haven't been attending for a while. So I'm reached out to them to see if, you know, what their preference is, but we've been struggling with quorum. And so if we have steering committee members that aren't really participating, I think we would probably like to make sure we get quorum so we can be actually functioning. So if you have any suggestions for nomination for steering committee chair or vice chair, you can send an email to our SHIELD email with nominations. Our next call, we've moved the steering committee calls to Mondays, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern. But that doesn't work for everybody, so this time probably will change again. But for the next 2 to 3 months, that's where it's going to be. So our next call is the 26th. IEVD Data Hub Working Group, I don't think Nick is going to be on because he's still on leave, but so that there is not much update from last time the last time they met was end of October, but their next call is January 30th. So that's when Nick is back. The leader work group, we've been meeting Mondays in the morning, but I think going forward, and Hung can correct me, I think the invite hasn't gone out, but I think we're gonna meet Tuesdays from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern. Instead, we've kind of finished the white paper. It's in front of the steering committee. And so we have to start thinking about how can we promote the leader effort more in this next quarter. And then also we're working with a smaller group, trying to figure out a pilot of leader and how it can work. So our next leader work group call is on February 4th. Anybody has any other thoughts on leader work group? If not, I'll go to communications and branding. Eric.
Yeah, hi, Ricky. Hi, everyone. So a couple of things. We do have the survey ready to go. I think we did make a couple of adjustments based on some feedback we got, and I think we're ready to put that out. And I guess, Ricky, I mean, I can just put it out to this email distribution group that's on the All Shield
Yeah, if you do reply all to the invite, everybody should get it.
So we'll get that out. The second thing is we did stand up a LinkedIn group for Shield. I'm going to just put the link in the chat, and I apologize. I'm delinquent in getting our last meeting minutes out, but I will work on getting that out. But we did meet first week of the year and work on that. And it's a bit of a work in progress, but feel free to check it out, and we will get all of our calendar events on there, and also try to use that again to kind of what Ricky was saying, try to do some outreach, get other people involved, and kind of get the word out. The other thing I was going to quickly mention is we do on our meetings, we do also look at presentation opportunities. AMIA was one we were tracking, and my last notes were that they hadn't opened up the call for proposal. I just went in and looked, and it is open. The window is open now. They're due March 19th. So we can certainly take a look at what's required there, and work to get a submission in before the deadline.
Awesome, thank you.
Sure.
And if anybody's interested in getting the word out about Shield, I think more members are always better. So please feel free to join the communications work group. The standards and vocabulary working group hasn't met for quite a while. Rosh, I think you're on, you want to talk about that?
Sure. Our focus was on the data elements that were defined in LRI, along with recommendations for those. All of our meetings have been recorded with minute notes and recommendations that have gone up through the steering committee. There's additional work that is likely required, looking at things beyond the LRI data elements. Should there be a champion willing to move that group forward, as I have constrained bandwidth moving forward. And so definitely looking for a chair of that group to try to continue those efforts.
Okay, yeah, and we've been talking to Steve. I don't know if he managed to make it. Steve, are you on the call? Steve Emick? No, well, we'll try to see if we can find some more leadership for this group so that that work can continue going forward.
Thanks for connecting, Steve, with me. We do have a call, so I can try to get him up to speed and see if he's willing to join that group.
Excellent. I think if you want to forward that call also to Julia, if she can join when you guys have it set up, that'd be great. But we also should keep an eye on the work Kareem's group is doing, and maybe, utilize a lot of the work that they've been doing, and that the European standards harmonization work group, vocabulary work group. All right, thank you, Raj. I did, so the last All Shield call that same afternoon was the CDRH panel presentation. It was FDA internal panel of several different collaborative communities. It was very interesting, and I have taken some notes besides the answers that we had to the questions that were posed to all the groups. That also has some notes about the other groups that were participating in the agenda. So if folks are interested, you can read more about that there. And this is old, so we haven't looked at this in forever. I don't even know if we need the use cases at the moment, but we'll do probably maybe as part of the communications area on the steering committee, we could take more of a look at this list of those 3 items to get a little bit more FDA participations. And I missed my other topic. Oh, here. I went right past the open discussion tickets. So any other topics people want to bring up? I'm going to put here that Amy add the link.
That's wonderful. Thank you. I also saw just now that they have a call for participation for the scientific program committee. If you want to be a reviewer, for the presentations, and that you need to sign up by February 3rd. So if anybody's interested in being a reviewer for the presentation, and it's all in that link.
You said February what? Sorry.
The 3rd.
Okay, so that's comes by pretty quickly here.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Any other topics? If not, we'll look at the call cadence. So our next call is February 25th and then March 25th. We have the special topic calls are every second Tuesday of the month. So the next one is February 11th, and Sarah is going to talk to us about the lab interoperability panel from the ASDP ONC annual meeting. March 11th is currently open for topics, but maybe we should use that to discuss US CDI version 6 draft comments. I think the steering committee is going to talk about that, and we'll send a note out to the list if that's what we're doing. And then April 8th, Alana and her group have offered to do a presentation on the FDA's report, the report they did for the FDA on the OTC POC testing. And other ideas for topics was maybe presentation on how the Linux SNOMED extension work is going. Any other ideas for topics? Well, if you have any, you can always email them either to the Shield email or to myself, and we'll go see what we can do. And I already mentioned that the steering committee calls moved to a new time, but it's probably gonna shift again. So I'll open the call up for anything else. Anybody wants to talk about? If not, I'll give folks 29 minutes back. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Ricky.
Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you on various calls, and if not, in February.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Ricky.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.